All right, so let's start by going over script1.js. Most of these functions follow a similar premise because they're pretty self-contained. It's just kind of taking an object or an array as an argument and then modifying it in some way. So for instance, this one takes a personal info object and manages to print out all the data from it. And then this one takes a list of multiple project arguments, or sorry, not arguments, objects, and then takes it and filters it by a certain technology. This one is it takes a list of website objects and then finds out how many total users they are by adding up this attribute right here. Um, then down here, this is a play on the one from before where we're filtering by technologies, except this one filters by multiple technologies. And then in part 5 here, we have something similar, but a little bit different. It's a more complex equation than previously. It's where we actually have to take into account how many years, how many months, and how many days to figure out how much experience this person has in months, right? And so we're multiplying the years by 12, we're taking the months, adding that, and then taking the days and dividing by 30. Then we have get projects by technology count. And so this one is taking, similarly to what we were doing before, an array of objects that represent different projects, and it is creating another array where each element of the array is sort of how to put it, a duo, I guess. It's giving you the technology type and then how many times it's used in a project or how many projects it's used in. And then part 7 here, we have get project with longest description. This one is very similar. It's using a like for loop to go through each project and then comparing the length of the description so that we end up with the longest description in the end. And then we can move on to script 2 because these are fairly simple. It's just calculations within functions. So then here we're actually interacting with elements of an HTML document. And so here, like this one is it's whenever this button is clicked, it will change the text to clicked and then the color to green by listening for this event. And then display text here, you enter it into an input box. And then when the button is clicked, this listener will send you here, and then it will change the output text content to be equivalent to the input. And then part 3 here, the delete buttons array, that is a list, each with like its own little list item, and then a delete button. And how this works is that we create an array of all of the buttons that have that ID. And then here we have a little like for loop that goes through and has a listener for each of them and then sends you here when one of them is clicked so that when you click the delete button for that corresponding list element, the list element gets deleted. And then down here we have change color, and that is where you have a little drop-down menu. And then when the drop-down menu is changed, the listener will send you here, and then it will change to be whatever color you selected based off of this if statement. Then we have part 5 with focus, and that sort of is just kind of a toggle for some text. And when you click it, when it detects that you click the toggle button, it will use this if statement to be like, is it showing? If it is, then we'll hide it. If it's not, then we'll show it. And then part 6 here, we have increment, and that is just we're listening for a button click, and when it gets clicked, we change this counter by 1, we increase it, and then we change the text content to reflect that by having a counter and then the new number. And down here we have verify. And verify is sort of simple. It is a form, and when the form has the action submit done on it, so when you click the submit button, it's listening for that, and so it'll send you to the verify function, and it's going to look in the name entry field and the email entry field and use this if statement here and say if either of these are empty, this can't go through. And the way that we're checking that is we have the values for them stored here in these variables. And so we're saying if this one is empty or this one is empty, then give them this error message by changing the error text content to this, one or more fields were left unanswered, and then stopping the submission from going through. And so that is about it for all these functions. They're fairly self-contained. So yeah.